What is up guys, Mrwhosetheboss here, and in this video we're taking a look at the top PlayStation Vita games of 2015 to 2016. So I know it's been a long time since I've actually done a PlayStation Vita video, and all you guys have just been moaning on my channel, so I thought I might as well give in. Why fight it? So anyway, the PlayStation Vita has come a long way since I actually done a last sort of update on it. There's been numerous new game announcements, and a slight change in the position of the system. So anyway, let's talk about the upcoming games. So first of all, Resident Evil Revelations 2. Now, a slight update on this, it's been delayed to some vague time in the summer. Now as we all know, this has happened on many occasions with all sorts of games which eventually never came into fruition. It's not a good sign. But I mean, I right now at least trust the company that they'll actually turn things around and sort it out. They have promised that this will come with all 4 episodes that the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 versions of the game are coming with, and I have to say, it's something to be excited about. These games were very highly rated on both systems. You know, they're graphically impressive and they're described as a breath of fresh air. The PlayStation Vita really needs a title like this, something which is graphically impressive, something which shows off what it's made of, similar to the kind of launch titles we saw 3-4 years ago, which, now I mention it, is kind of a weird thought. I kind of quite distinctly remember the day the PlayStation Vita was announced, and I was sitting on my desk salivating over its specifications, like a real nerd. Anyways, Resident Evil Revelations 2 sounds good to me. Now, on a slightly disappointing note, we've been informed that FIFA 16 won't be making its way to PlayStation Vita, 3DS or Wii U. Now I guess the fact that they're cutting off the 3DS and the Wii U is a tiny bit reassuring, but it's just generally quite disappointing. I mean, the PlayStation Vita wasn't exactly getting the best FIFA ports, but I feel like this is just the start of a massive collapse in developers making mainstream games actually disappearing. So, on the positive note though, we are still getting LEGO Jurassic World, which is a very up-to-date game, and I know people are getting bored of these LEGO titles, but nonetheless, you know, even if it is a portable sort of cut-down version of the console game, you can expect a highly polished and refined experience, and at least they're not abandoning us. So I suppose when it comes to Traveller's Tales and Warner Bros, I hate your games, but I respect you. So we've also got quite an interesting title in the form of Severed. Now in Severed, you're taking control of a one-armed heroine and you have a pretty strange, crazy, awesome living sword. So you're using basically all the touchscreen mechanics offered by the PlayStation Vita, almost no buttons whatsoever, and you're basically just slaying monsters, cutting off their arms and legs, harvesting them and making equipment out of it. It's made by the same developers who made Guacamelee, and it has a really great art style. So although I'm a little bit confused about the sort of touch-based control mechanism they've gone for, Guacamelee was basically my favourite game on the system, so you can call me at least a little bit excited. In other news, there's Danganronpa, J-Star's Victory, Hyperdimension Neptunia, and just a ridiculous slew of JRPG titles. They are basically dominating, they're coming in by the tens, and to be honest, there's probably more of those than there are indie games, the sort of whole genre that the Vita is famous for. They are really doing well. Now this is a combination of factors, but basically it's to do with the fact that in Japan, the PlayStation Vita is actually selling quite well. So although sales haven't picked up, they've barely faltered since about 2 years ago. For some reason, I suppose it's the constant slew of games more than anything, the Japanese market is hungry for the PlayStation Vita, and demand does not seem to be faltering at all, which is good, I guess. It means that we're getting at least some games, even if they're not quite the games that we wanted. You know, it's still some attention, it's better than nothing. And then again, this is what happened with the PlayStation Portable until eventually Monster Hunter came along and just saved the system. So who knows what will happen to the PlayStation Vita. I wouldn't say it's over just yet. So something else to keep an eye out for is the E3 Games Show. So this year, that's going to be happening from June 16th to June 18th, so pretty soon. And I mean, it could be anything from a whole bunch of new titles to nothing at all. Chances are there won't be a PlayStation Vita update announced at this one, like, you know, a new model or anything. But, you know, who knows, Sony do occasionally surprise us. Having said that, this show does tend to be more to do with the consoles, sort of the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, more than likely the PlayStation 4. I highly doubt they'll be talking about a PlayStation 5 at this early stage. But nonetheless, I don't think the PlayStation Vita will get a huge amount of attention, but a little bit of hope will never hurt anyone. So when Sony actually released the PlayStation 4, they talked about how the PlayStation Vita was designed from the ground up to work with it, and how remote play was going to be an integral part of the Sony ecosystem. Whilst a lot of users have reported trying out the feature, it's not resulted in a higher level of PlayStation Vita sales. Now Sony's second wave at trying to do this, amongst other things, is to actually introduce PlayStation Now to the PlayStation Vita. This is the ability to stream PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 titles to the device on the go for a subscription fee. I gotta admit, it's pretty expensive. I mean, to rent a game for 4 hours, you can end up spending about £5. That's like a hell of a lot of money. I mean, you can actually buy games for that much if you're lucky. Do I think PlayStation Now is the future of PlayStation? No, I think that Sony gamers generally like holding a device in their hand which plays the games. Doesn't matter whether they have internet connection, doesn't matter if they're in, the higher parts of Bolivia or they're surfing the Antarctic Ocean. Not that you should, this thing isn't waterproof, but the point is that someone who wants a portable device does not want a cloud streamer. So I don't think they will do that, at least I hope they don't. The direction that Nvidia has taken with their Nvidia Shield to sort of promote a cloud gaming service in the form of Nvidia Grid have been pretty unsuccessful, and you can see that the core audience of the Nvidia Shield are people who play Android games that the Shield can play wherever you are. So do I think there'll be another PlayStation Vita? A lot of you guys have asked me this question, and to be honest, no. I don't think Sony will make another PlayStation Vita, and I think this agrees with just about what everyone else is saying. The reasons are pretty obvious. I mean, it doesn't make sense for Sony to repeat an initial mistake with yet another mistake, but I do think Sony will release another portable console. Whether it's called a PlayStation Vita 2, to be honest I doubt. I mean, they'd probably like to start again, given the negative connotations associated with the Vita name. But clearly, I mean really clearly, there is a market for handheld consoles. The 3DS is just an example of this. I mean, you can walk around town, you can walk around in shops, you will see little kids playing on their 3DSs. You go to a school at break times, kind of sad as it is, that's all they do. So I personally think it's pretty fair to assume that by 2017 or 2018, Sony will probably have released either a new games console, which is handheld, or a new platform to experience games on. I really do think there's an opportunity there, which Sony surely is not dumb enough to miss. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, I hope you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe for more.